Guess who's back again? It's us with the StarCraft 2 World Championship Series. I know. You thought, well, the group's not over yet, so you guys can't go away. I'm Nathanius, joined by Katz, as we move into our second match for Group B for Burgers.
And what a match this is going to be. This is the number 2 and number 3 right now on the North American ladder.
Oh, wow.
Fighting against each other.
Would you say this would be an epic matchup?
I would say this is quite epic, indeed.
But it's not a little one.
It's no, it's a big one.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Just wanted to make sure we had that clarified. We've got TLO going up against Epic. Terran versus Zerg. Yeah. You know, we talk about upcoming NA Terran players, how they've kind of been taking over Challenger.
Yeah.
And we know Epic is good. Future has kind of taken some of the spotlight from the up-and-coming players. We talk a lot about Future. He's got his great WCS video, or his Nation Wars video. I think another one got put out of him versus M. Canning today as well. But Epic is another very young NA Terran who's climbing the ladder, as it were.
Over the last year or two, he's been improving constantly, and he's become a force to be reckoned with. And so here we are. Do not underestimate him. And spawning. No, you do the intro here, my dude.
No, you had a really epic thing going.
No.
All match here's, don't worry.
No. I want to...
Oh, I have to go first.
You must.
And spawning in the bottom right position. Coming in as the red Terran player. Fooled up on those Group B burgers. He's epic. Noise. Thank you, production.
And on the top left-hand side, the second most creative Zerg to have ever played this game, it is TLO!
The only commentator who would ever come in and say such a thing. I agree.
Thank you.
I like that Peruvian guy. He's pretty good with his meme builds.
Indeed.
When he's not building hatcheries in my base.
Yeah, you love it. You know it.
That's true.
All right.
So that's why I drop the spray on your bushes, and then that's how I keep it even.
Yeah, it's a pretty good strat. TLO going for a very fast gas here. I mean, hatch gas pool. It's nothing too crazy, but it is a large map. It is, in my opinion, you can delay the gas a little bit. We'll see what he decides to do. A lot of Zerg players like to slowly saturate that gas, and that's what we're gonna see from TLO.
Let's be real, Paolo. If it was you, you would have
no gas. 3
hatches, and you'd have a hatch in his base as well.
Oh, without
you'd have 4 hatcheries.
No, I just have 3. Oh, do you think I would go 4 hatcheries first?
I mean, by the time my SCV makes it to your base, there's a hatchery in my base, and you've taken both of your expansions.
Ooh,
so yeah.
Look at this though.
Wow.
The SCV, I really like that. Cutting the 1 mineral. I mean, that's pretty good, right? Like I don't see a downside to that. The Reaper's gonna arrive a little bit earlier.
But if you get all in, then it's easier for your opponent to reach you.
Yeah, but if you're accounting for your game plan, and as such, your opponent is less likely to adjust to it.
Maybe.
They're doing their own thing. At the same time, TLO is getting that very fast link speed, so we'll see what he decides to do. He might, knowing TLO, he might go after those minerals with some drones, try to ram by or something like that.
Poor SCV, just getting manhandled by that drone. The Reaper does get here to try and block, but he lost the SCV, and lose the Reaper. Oh, really? That's good. Just good job by TLO.
Yeah, very good by Epic as well. I mean, he sacrificed the SCV to delay or deny this third, so kind of sucks. But
I think he would have wanted to get the block with the Reaper too. But
yeah, absolutely.
Oh, well.
Yeah. It was. I mean, it was a good try, right? It was a good attempt. He could have. He was very close to denying that hatchery, forcing another drone, further delaying the hatchery.
Okay, so we got to see this. We got to see a lot of BCs from Uthermal yesterday. So I'm just gonna say it. I want Epic to build battle cruisers. I mean, battle cruisers are a pretty epic unit, so it's just fitting if you think about it.
Yeah, absolutely. They can also shorten the very large distance that this map offers by teleporting.
It's tactical jumping, okay? It's very tactical. It's very high, very, very, very smart play,
Yeah, it is very tactical indeed. I mean, sometimes you just do it, and I guess you can teleport into some spores, and your tactics just don't fare too well.
That's terrifying.
No. The drone will be...
Wow, a drone pickoff is quite unusual, right?
Oh, very nice blocks. Nice try there. And TLO was going for the larger building, then decides for the Spore. Had he tried, and that's good adjustment by TLO as well, right? Like, they cost the same, the Spore and the Evo Chamber. Had he gone for the Evo Chamber again, it would have been too big. The Reaper would have blocked it again, and it would have died. So, good adjustment there, even though I don't see why you would ever make not the Spore in the first place, right?
Yeah. So, third command center on location, too, by Epic. And he's walling off that big ramp. We had a little bit of a discussion about this yesterday. Because, which Protoss? It was our European Protoss built the wall there.
Yeah.
It was a Gung Fu Banda wall.
Gung Fu Banana.
Yeah, Gung Fu Banana. If only he was in Group B for bananas.
Yeah, and I mean, this is exactly the type of wall-off that can be taken advantage of by extracting those mineral lines, right? Like the minerals off to the side of the third. So.
Yeah, so you need to be very aware of that. Baneling Nest is finishing up. Does he think? Nah, you don't think he's... I mean, maybe it's just in case there's Hellbats because there's Hellions, but we know it's not a Hellbat build. He's getting double Engineering Bay very quickly. So
he's playing very safe as TLO right now. I mean, even with a Spore at the front, looking out for those Banshee potentials. And that is a very good Spore, by the way, because otherwise, you know, the Banshee is guaranteed to catch units in transit. That's an easy Spore to forget or forgo. Yeah.
Really fast upgrades for Epic in this game. He's played exceptionally greedy.
He has.
Third command center on location. And I guess like the Banshee can help. And now he's going to move into tanks too. So that'll be nice if there was an attack coming. We know that there's not, but...
Yeah, it is, I mean, one of the greedier maps. It takes a while to cross it. And we've talked about this in plenty. But on the flip side, TLO has played rather safe. I mean, getting that Baneling Nest and Banelings very early on, getting all of his gases very early on, that's going to slow down your mineral intake as well. Spores and such. So I kind of like Epic's position so far.
Yeah, no, I love it. Because TLO, as you said, he's played more safe than he's played greedy, right? He's got even the Spine Crawler coming in, which, based on what we know, it's completely unnecessary.
Yes. But that's, yeah, based on what we know. And it overlaps a little bit with the Banelings, right? Like, the Spine is great against the likes of Hellions, Hellbats, as are Banelings.
Yep.
So he is indeed playing like he thinks he is the better player, and perhaps with just reason.
Yeah. Ooh, just snipe off 2 Banelings there. We don't really see Hellions used too much past the early phase when you're playing Bio. So he gets rid of Banelings for his Hellions, and that's not the worst, I don't think.
Yeah, but the creep denying and the map presence is also lost with this. Some information gained, of course, and this is a hefty number of links to be made from TLO as well, so nothing to scoff at.
Goodness gracious!
After seeing 2 tanks, this is very gutsy by the Doctor.
Okay.
And we'll see. Will he cancel those?
No, don't do it. Siege the tanks, bring the medevacs back.
Yeah, I mean, do you cancel the Banelings? No, he lets them finish. I mean, you cannot break that. There's 2 tanks. And more links are spotted. Epic is probably just going to turn around, or... Okay, he's just going to chase those 2 medevacs around. So.
Yeah, this is funny. His window where he has that very small upgrade lead is about to be gone, too.
Ooh, look at that drilling claws being researched.
I love it! Oh my god, finally someone's doing it!
Indeed.
Oh, I love drilling claws versus Zerg.
It's a very strong upgrade, yeah.
You just don't see it enough. It's one of those upgrades that if you can squeeze it out really early, it is just so damn nice.
Yeah, and you know, he's had the economy and the place to do such things. 2-2 getting started already for Epic. Wow. That is a fast 2-2.
Yeah. You know what else is fast, though, is a Hive.
Indeed. And yeah, I'm not sure what he's going with this. I don't think there's a Spire in play, right? So.
Nope.
Yeah, maybe Ultras is what he's looking to do.
He's going to Ultranitis.
I mean, it's TLO. He could do anything.
It's true. And then everyone would praise him for it, even if it doesn't work.
No. It works. It'll work. It shall.
Okay. I'll take your word for it, Paolo.
Yeah, we have a little bit of a skirmish here in the middle of the map. Very nice focus fire.
Grabs a couple Banelings.
Yeah, very nice.
Those rocks are so weird. I have lost so many games accidentally clicking on them because I just think they're part of the terrain.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a Zerg player, you definitely want to get rid of those rocks more so than the other races, because you benefit from the open space and the positioning. So TLO doing a very good job of breaking them.
Trying to deny some creep, but no big battles here. I mean, because of the way that I think, you know, Terran really dictates the pace of a TVZ, because of how greedy he played, like, this game is just very slow.
It is indeed very slow, and TLO is doing a good job of capitalizing as far as creep spread is concerned. He's been expanding. His 4th is saturated, now taking a 5th. He has made a lot of Zerglings, and there's a Spire now coming up as well as Vipers. So 4 Vipers is going to be the choice from that hive for TLO, making use of it right away, right as it finishes. And a little bit of a cancel here, so very nice.
Yep, it's a good grab. Doesn't stop the creep from coming out, but 4 Vipers coming out is going to mean that could see some abducts into the Hydralisks.
Yeah, and all of a sudden those medevacs, you know, they can't do what they're doing right now, which is I'll stay until I can no longer do damage. When your links are closing the gap, then I'll leave. There is a lot of medevacs, so I think you pointed out yesterday this can also be used for the parasitic bombs. But there's not a ton of tanks, so Blinding Clouds are not going to be that great. That said, Blinding Clouds can offset the way that unit pathing works and maybe move your units to be brought further closer to the banelings. A nice PF there.
Yep.
Very good play by having that planetary. Watch this.
Planetary on the 4th is huge. TLO's going to try to push up the ramp. One of the Widowmine shots actually lands very nicely onto the banelings, though. So even with the Blinding Clouds over the tanks, you have to keep in mind, Blinding Cloud does not actually affect Widowmines. Yeah,
this is rough for the Doctor right now. I mean, he wanted to engage up there in the open space, but those Blinding Clouds were a little bit too preemptive, so it didn't really glitch the AI at all. It just pushed the units back, which is perfectly fine. As a Terran player, you probably want to back anyway.
Yep. I mean, a lot of stims are going down here, but the medevac count still looks pretty good. He's putting on a great amount of pressure, waiting for some reinforcements to come in. I like that he's getting Liberators here with the Mines, too. Mines, of course, providing great coverage for those Liberators. The Vipers have to pull back, try to get their energy.
Yeah, the Greater Spire is almost finished, but there's not enough Corruptors, if any at all, to morph into Broodlords. So TLO looking for an opening again. Free fighting is not going to fare well.
One of those mines burrowed, like, in the middle of the army because he was move commanding it forward to try and chase. There's the Blinding Cloud, doesn't really hit too many of the Marines.
Yeah, I mean, they're so fast, the Marines, right? Ideally, those Blinding Clouds are for tank pushes and such.
And that's why I love the mines, because they don't get affected by it, so the siege tanks aren't a soft, weak spot for him. Now the Liberators are coming in to reinforce on the east side.
Yeah.
Do not want to run into those Liberator shots. Corruptors are going to come out, but the Marines can help deal with them too.
There's not that many Marines left over, though, and it seems that Epic might have lost a round of production or something, because there's not that many reinforcements coming up. That said, the mines are still burrowed and invisible for the time being, so that's great for him. Those mines are going to be very important should they reload.
Drilling Claws is a very good upgrade for many reasons, but this is another one of them that I really love him for. Broodlords, of course, just like against tanks, they're going to be a very good counter against the mines, since they will bait the shots onto the Marines with Broodlings. You have to be really careful and aware. Maybe build that base on them.
Yeah.
Float it over.
Yeah, a little bit greedy there by Epic. Not giving enough credit to TLO, and TLO capitalizing on that.
Surprised no Ghost Academy. He's going to get extra starports and a fusion core for dealing with the air, it would seem. But I do think... Actually, I think he has a Ghost Academy. He just hasn't built Ghosts. Nope, he doesn't have a Ghost Academy. He's starting one now. There we go.
And as good as Broodlords are against Terran, and you might think they're the ultimate late game, and they kind of are. It is very, very difficult for Terran to deal with this army head-on, but Epic doesn't really have to fight head-on, especially on a map as big as this one.
Very true.
And the Broodlords are very, very slow, so should TLO ever push out, and Epic is aware of it, he can take advantage elsewhere, so we'll see. Right now, the game plan for Epic has to be to pick off TLO on multiple angles.
It's 4 base force versus 4 base, which is generally always good for the Terran. 3-3 has only just now started for Dario, and
3-3 is done for Epic.
Yep. So his units are just going to be really strong. And as you're talking about that, the units got pulled northeast by that double drop. And Epic just says, okay, cool, I'll kill your hatchery. No big deal. These Widow Mines aren't going to do too much, but he doesn't care about the Bird Lords now. He's like, well, I'm doing all the damage that I need to do. You're on 3 bases, and at this point, it's not really a true 3 bases, Cats, because he's mined out half the minerals in all of them.
Yeah, it really is, and these Blinding Clouds have just not paid for themselves in this game. Blinding Cloud Marines is just a very difficult thing to get value out of. Again, if you're glitching the AI so that the Marines push forward into Banelings or something like that, yes. But otherwise, it has just not paid off. Now, TLO still has a stronghold with those Broodlords, so he's going to try to get a 4th base. I don't think he can spread much thinner than that, though, Nate.
Nope. And that's the thing is, that's still not enough. He needs a lot more. Epic finished the south center base, so he's got a lot of money that's going to be coming in from there. And Epic has also, I think, finally gotten a command center on the northeast base. Well, almost.
Yeah.
It hasn't been canceled, but it can't land, so there's that. And then you watch SCVs try to kill Lings with Carapace upgrades. It's cute sometimes.
Indeed. So the army pulls back a little bit. I mean, TLO in a very tough position. I really like the Infestors, but against this many Marauders, they're just gonna tickle, right? Like, it's the Infestors, they want to lock an army that's running for the Broodlords to kill them. Sure, that's great, but ideally you're also killing enough Marines. Marauders are a little bit fatter, and they're a little bit tankier.
A little bit more thick.
Yeah, a little bit more thick.
So he's going to come up here. There's a Blinding Cloud onto the tank. There are some ghosts in the back.
I think this is
Bio's very well spread.
It's going to be very difficult for TLO to pull this off. A lot of the snipes are cancelled, though. The Broodlords are still on the retreat. Not that many Marines left over, but a lot of Bio otherwise.
Yeah, and he does get the Marines underneath the Broodlords. GG Epic takes game number 1 against TLO. Very well done.
Very, very well done.
Super greedy game.
Oh, God,
I think
the APM. The APM is over 1,000 in the combined for this game.
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay, but we all know TLO hotkeys are like...
But what is Epic doing then? Because he has 443 APM himself. Like
I
TLO...
think the Terran thing to say is that it's real APM.
Right.
Or maybe he's also got some sick keyboard repeat delay.
Maybe so, yeah.
Units. Yeah. The repeat delay thing is pretty big for Terran production. I mean, it's important for every race's production, but when you've got 10 racks, you need to queue, you just hold it for half a second. It's like, boom, fair. All Marines, baby.
All baby. All babies, baby.
Oh, baby.
Acropolis. Do you know what an Acropolis is?
An Acropolis? What it is?
Yeah.
It's a map in StarCraft 2 Legacy of the Void.
This is very
now
true.
Available on PC and Macintosh.
Absolutely. And it is the next map that we're going to be heading into.
But you know what?
What?
You want to know a great feature about Acropolis?
Yes.
It's just a terrible blink map, Cats.
It is. I mentioned that.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you're paying attention.
Indeed, I'm learning. I
appreciate that.
Absolutely.
I expect my check in the mail, but by the time this season of Challenger is over, you've got a few weeks.
I do. I'll collect. I'll collect and then pay.
All right. I mean, Epic just looked really good that game. Just very good macro, good control, good use of his mines. It's not uncommon sometimes for Terran, who really slows the game down and then tries to make that giant 2-2 push. You screw up 1 or 2 of your splits, a couple Banelings connect on the Marines, you look like a fool.
On the flip side, the attack that TLO was planning, the very first mine to go off on a corner, there was a good clump of Banelings. You know, those Banelings could have also made the difference and swapped the game completely where TLO cleans that army up, perhaps, and, you know, he's on the offense instead. So, a very good game 1. TLO not able to bring it back, but spawning in the top left-hand side, it is this man. It is Epic. Alex Damien. North Americans have the coolest names for Sidestorm Gaming.
And in the bottom right, the blue Zerg player, and now a Toronto native. He is TLO.
Very powerful.
TLO.
Oh.
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 Good times. It's good to have you here, Cats.
You too, Nate. Thank you. So, nothing out of the ordinary again. TLO going for the very fast gas again. Not sure why he likes the gas so much. The link speed that it didn't do much last game, right? It's...
Well, I mean, what if he sees another opportunity to morph 17 Banelings in front of 2 tanks?
that was a little questionable.
That was a bold move.
It was a very bold move. Maybe he thought Epic would read too much into it, keep the medevacs back or something like that. Who knows?
It is kind of it's something we don't get to see as much anymore, but it's like it harkens back to, I'm gonna just say, like Wings of Liberty era StarCraft, especially before Widow Mines were ever a thing, because some Terrans would build those after the Hellions. But you would get the 4 to 6 Hellion harass, and then if you killed the Hellions, a lot of Zergs would say, okay, now I'm just going to try and do a Baneling bust.
It's pretty good.
Because usually after the Hellions, you use the factory to build a reactor for a barracks, and you're building like 3 or 4 racks, getting your E-bays, and you don't really have it more than like 7 or so Marines. And if he had done that, well, then those 17 Banelings, we talk about how TLO is so creative and such a genius because it blows up those 3 depots, maybe blows up the E-bays, and then there's Zerglings in the natural and the third because there's only 1 wall.
And that would be game ending.
Yeah.
So, I mean, he did get the Hellions, but once you spot 2 tanks, then it's kind of a game changer, right?
There's people who make it work versus 1 tank. Whenever I watch like No Regret play or
No Regret, yeah, he has some sort of magic though with his things.
It's like the things that like people who play super aggressive get good at. That they're like, oh yeah, I think two tanks. I can get my Ravagers through that. Yeah, you know.
Yeah. If you talk to No Regret, though, after the games, a lot of the time he's like, yeah, I honestly thought I was dead. But then I just kept going with the Hydras. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I just kept rallying Hydras, and it kept working.
They're very good. They're very good, this type of player, at like identifying what they can kill exactly with the units that they have. Yeah, TLO definitely that type of play, on that vein of play. A little bit more macro-oriented, but very, very technical, tactical.
But 2 tanks is too much.
Yeah, a little bit too much, especially with slow Banes, right? It's not even...
Yeah, when they're up a ramp, you could say that he's just not very good at dealing with tank tops.
All right. So, Reaper.
Get that 1 lane. Get that value, Reaper.
You got it.
Get that value for that 50 minerals and 50 gas. You go, girl.
You go, girl. Indeed.
Get another one. Get that ling. You can do it. Look at
that was really close, and yeah. A little bit greedy for sure. I mean, once you spot the speed on the links, right? Like, best case scenario, you're fighting against the link that killed you. Worst case scenario, there's a couple more, and you're definitely dead.
This Baneling nest is quite a bit faster, too, Cats.
All right. Maybe he's trying to show us the real power of the potential of this Baneling strategy.
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be Banshees. And, like, it's weird because Banshees are still, like, a pretty solid way of stopping a lot of aggression from, like, a Zerg. It's one of the reasons why Zerg all-ins are so bad is because stuff like Banshees just shut them down since you don't have anti-air unless you Nidus, basically, or do one of those Overlord drop builds that no one does.
Yeah. I mean, I doubt we're going to see an all-in from TLO, but Epic is playing quite greedy. This time around, at least not placing the CC on the third itself, but still a pretty fast third CC off of the Banshees, so not very many units back at home. Yeah.
Although the Banshees, it's really hard to get stuff done with them. I don't know. I talked with the Cold Terran a little bit about this yesterday, but I don't like Banshees anymore.
No?
I canceled Banshees, man. They're done. They're dead to me.
Yeah, I mean, if they catch you off guard, yeah, I mean, it's a little bit worse because there's overlap with the BCs as well, right?
Yeah,
like there's so many things. Pretty much, if you don't know what the turn's doing, you should be making spores because it's they're gonna make a star burst.
Yeah, because I think battle cruisers actually made Banshee builds even worse because if you're safe against BCs, you're definitely safe against Banshees. Yeah, exactly. Zergs have just started building more queens in general versus Terran because the BC build. If you skip extra queens, like you just die.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, the Banshee's a nice defensive measure, though. I think what Epic is looking to do is basically get away with his greed and defend against all-ins, like you said.
Yeah, and I totally like that.
You can feel that. It's
just saying that a BC is the same cost as 2 Banshees in the
Yeah. But then if you teleport it, you have no defense.
Well, you know, if your BC does the job, then it doesn't matter. You know what I mean?
True. All right, the Banshees here to prove us wrong somewhat. Kills 4 drones, 3 drones.
Much better than last game.
Indeed. But it is a 2 Banshee investment and the cloak, so he did pay for the safety of it. But
he gets some information, right? Did he see the lair? Was there any other tech in the main that the Banshees saw? No, okay, never mind. He sees nothing.
Oh, he sees the lack of lair. So it might be misinformation, if anything.
Italians are going to fight queens. This isn't Wings of Liberty, so they don't do that anymore. It's not a thing. Been a long time.
Hellions could fight queens?
When Queens had 3 range?
Oh, yeah. fair. Oh, I almost forgot about that.
You remember back in the day, Zerg literally couldn't take a third because of Hellions. Hellions would just bully Queens, and then you had to get mutas to kill the Hellions.
Indeed. Yeah. Bad times. Bad times.
Those are the best of times.
No, the best of times were when roaches had regeneration and burrows, costed 1 supply, and did something else ridiculous just for I don't remember.
Well, they did have 3 range back then too.
Yeah, did they have an extra armor as well?
Yeah. Roaches were actually unkillable, but they couldn't hit anything.
Yeah.
Then again, Immortals only had 5 range, so it wasn't as much of a... Immortals actually kind of sucked. If you put in those got the +1 range because of that tank push build. But Epic gets 16 Marines in here.
Yeah.
There is Baneling speed, so he's got to be careful, mate. And mutas are going to come out soon, too.
Yeah, so. But he knows where most of the army is, where the Queens are, unloading some Marines onto that low ground. I think by mistake, he's just going to have to bounce. And he has to get out of here fast, because those mutas, like you said, are coming and are going to be on the lookout for this medevacs. The Lynx and Banelings should follow with the mutas to try to... There they are. And they're going to look for those medevacs and prevent the unloads.
He's going to lose everything here.
Or... maybe not. The rest of the army is coming to meet this medevac.
Saving this would be really big.
He's got it.
Nice. Those 8 men get to live to fight another day.
Yeah, and that is 3 tanks as well. So I wouldn't have been surprised if he tried to go for a push with those rocks on that same warpath.
Yeah. He's got drilling claws coming in again too.
Love it.
Thor being built. Has he started the second factory? Not yet.
Sure.
Not yet. No, okay. He just started it right now.
All right. But yeah, I love the Thor. I mean, it's going to be a deterrent for making more Mutalisks from TLO, who is currently morphing some Banelings, looking for the upgrade. A little bit greedy, perhaps.
Contamination, though, used. Very nice.
Pretty nice.
Don't overstay your welcome. Big Daddy Thor is going to come out and kill your 2 mutas you have left.
Yeah, and very fast Hive once again. Now, the Hive, I'm not sure if I like it, because last time he went for the very fast Vipers. That did not pan out. This time, at least, there's 3 tanks, so a little bit more of a reason to do that. The Thor also a little bit harder to get out of the Blinding Cloud, so maybe he could do something, or even abduct those tanks and the Thor. But we'll see what he decides to go with this Hive.
Yeah. Trying to get it. I think he got the Baneling at that 1 hatchery with the Banshee. I like that. There's like the random stuff that you can pick off with Banshees. Sometimes you can't get drones, but if the Zerg has like a few early Banes, it's actually really nice to grab 1 or 2.
Indeed.
Gets a lot of damage on that hatch too.
Yeah, Banelings are deceptively expensive.
Yeah.
All right.
Killing any gas-based unit is always the dream.
Yeah. I love this by Epic, by the way. It might get caught by these mutas. It's going to be close. Now the mutas will spot the medevac, unfortunately. But I really like the fact that he was trying to go for the base that he just worked on, right? Like, have you ever watched wrestling, Nate? And, you know, like when they hit your leg.
Oh, yeah.
And then that's the weak spot.
They keep going for it. Yeah.
Yep. That's what he was going for. And I like consistency of thought. It is very important to have.
Gotta be careful when that 5th base gets kneecapped or whatever. He is on creep, though. Hasn't even scanned for the tumors underneath his tanks. So this might gonna set up a huge flank opportunity.
Or a counterattack as he goes into the 3rd. The wall-up wasn't finished either, and this is a big Ling run-by. Mind you, Banelings are not here, and they must be at home, but Epic paying good attention. He says, where are your Banelings? Now, this type of counterattack is so powerful because it forces you to try and do something offensively, but Epic is so very good. He has enough units to push this back.
He loses 20 SCVs, but he still has 56, so it's not over yet. But this is where that big flank that we were talking about comes in, and he has to make sure he has Marines left over when the Banelings are done. So far he does, but there's too many mutas and too many Zerglings.
Yeah, beautiful job by TLO. I mean, he's gonna put himself a little bit ahead here. Gets a bunch of SCVs, retreats when he needs to, and flanks perfectly.
I still like this continued assault, though, because... Actually, that is a lot of Lings. I was going to say there's no Banelings, but there's still too many Lings. Blinding Cloud on the Marines.
Good mine-ish.
Doesn't take friendly fire from that mine, but next one gets some Zerglings, but needs a few more good mine hits.
Yeah, and when this happens for the Terran player, it's so very difficult to gain that momentum back because this army is so fast that it can just capitalize right away. So we'll see if TLO chooses to just keep going with it, maybe onto the 3rd. He will not.
Good abduct. Nice. And now he's going into Ultralisks as well, so that economic damage becomes more of a problem since Marauders are not cheap units.
Indeed. However, Ultralisks are Ultralisks, Nate. So that is pretty scary as well, as a Zerg player making Ultralisks.
It can be, yeah. He's going to get a Nidus network, I think, in true Dario fashion.
I like it.
I mean, there is also the Naruto run upgrade for the Ultras. They go quite quick.
Yeah, that is true. They're considerably better with that. And Epic really doesn't have a good answer at all. Like, he really needs to spot this and go into, you know, one of the either Marauders or Liberators or Ghosts or something that just shreds Ultras. Now, if Ultras are unopposed with none of those answers available, then they will just, you know, end it.
He's trying to get some work done here. Oh man, I'm ready to see a Nidus pop up and just see TLO Nidus Ultras into Epic's main.
And then abduct them into the third.
He's too smart. He's too smart.
Let's see.
You can't abduct Ultras, right? Because they're frenzied.
You can.
Even though they're frenzied?
They're not frenzied no more.
Aren't they? You can't.
I believe so.
You can't mind control them, no?
No, you're right. You can't mind control them.
About the mind, I thought that was.
You can abduct them though. I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay. It's been a while since I built Ultras.
Or maybe you can't? Oh, you're making me doubt. I know I've abducted Ultras before. I'm not sure when this change has happened, but I've abducted...
I saw your video, but your
Ultras,
video of abducting Ultras was also on, I think, Daybreak, so...
Right. Yeah, some of my highlight reels are quite old.
It's mine too.
There's another Nidus. Epic has been paying great attention here. TLO looking for that 5th base and will deny it. So finding something on the back of the Nidus, even though the Nidus doesn't go off itself.
It's gonna be playing Whack-A-Mole. Oh, yes.
Whack-A-Mole is one of my favorite games.
I said Whack-A-Mole, not guacamole.
Well, I thought it was the same thing. Isn't guacamole just eating guacamole?
Yeah, you know what? I'll allow it. Ultras are going to come in onto that planetary, bringing the rest of the units over for the flank with Banelings could be huge. Getting this base is really, really important.
Yeah, that is big.
Tearing down a huge peg, and he's going to have to rebuild the command center on location.
Yeah, the Ultras are kind of weakened by this, but not enough. None went down, I think, and there's 6 queens. So should TLO want, he can go and transfuse some of these. Unless, of course, he has perfect injects.
He's going to go back, maybe cancel, and then get in the Nidus and go home. Or it's going to be the sickest Ultralisk flank of all time. He's building a Nidus in his own base.
It's very gutsy of Epic even to take this position with this many Ultras behind him and knowingly.
Yeah.
So let's see.
But he'll never hit them, right? Like if he tries to turn around and get them, like he just won't work. He needs the mines to get the Banelings. They do!
Yeah. That is actually pretty huge, and TLO actually not taking the best available route. He could have closed off this better, and Epic identifying where the Ultras are coming from running north. Still, TLO has way too much, and the economy favors him greatly as well.
Yeah, kill that hatch. Gotta get rid of those bases, man. He's done a good job getting some damage done, and the Nidus is gonna start in the main. Gets 2 Banelings there with that mine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, he's got a tank. He's just, I'm gonna leave a tank in my main.
He has the mines as well. So if that goes off, it's a trap.
It's a trap. I'm surprised that Epic has so much supply. I honestly thought
he is a very impressive player.
I thought he was really far behind, but he is still macroing super hard. There's a big attack going towards his third, though. Remember, he doesn't have the 4th base. He's floating his main over there. A lot of SCVs, the Ultralisk harass.
Yeah, I love it. Just a couple of Ultras can do so much damage and pull so much army back. So TLO doing the proper. It is not an easy decision to make, but when you have this many Ultras, they also start to overlap, right? Like run into each other. So it's very nice to spread them.
Gotta be careful because they're pretty thick. He's gonna get some ghosts, but even that is kind of hard to use because
and expensive too.
Gotta make sure they don't get their snipes canceled. Those Ultras are quite problematic. Switching to Broodlords will also be really hard to deal with considering the low economic situation.
Yes, indeed.
Ooh, 1, 2.
Okay.
Okay, well, 2 free Ultralisks helps a lot as well.
It sure does. Now, one thing that I never liked too much was the cost change of the ghosts. I think that that the gas cost is kind of cool because Terran lacks or has too much gas sometimes, right? Like it doesn't need as much gas. So the ghosts are gonna be very, very difficult for Epic to keep up in production here, but they are deadly.
Yeah, very good. That Nidus being there has been so useful. This Overseer's trying to get in the back and put the Nidus somewhere outside the range of the tank.
Yep, we'll just siege it.
Needs to be careful.
Yeah, creep spread has receded.
Nidus is in the main.
I mean, he's going to be kiting off of creep. This is, I think, decent for Epic, but the fungals are going to be pretty big, and with that, TLO soldiers are going to close the gap. Good focus firing by Epic, however, and he's actually breaking through.
Well, that's incredible, but TLO does get the Nidus, and once you're on that Terran production, it is very hard to recover.
Yeah, and he doesn't have the economy to remake it either. He needs to find all of these infestors. The medevacs are out of energy, and this bio is overstimmed. So, Nathaniel, I think we're looking at the beginning of the end.
Yep, there is still a fungal available, too. You click F on that army once, and then everyone in chat types F.
Okay, the tank will also go down. And this should be about it. I think we're going to see TLO equalizing here very shortly. There isn't much that Epic can do. I mean, he still has basically just a one mining base. TLO taking an extra one. The Nidus is coming. He's going to have to pull some units back. And TLO might look to hit the front. But not at the moment. For now, he's just happy with his economy, playing it very, very safe. He knows where he's at. And he's down 0-1, so you got to respect his choice to kind of just chill here.
Yeah. What do you do if Epic somehow finds a way to win this game?
I don't know. I watched that at Laser Game, and I was pretty sure that it was impossible to lose. And then he did it, so I don't know.
Okay.
I would not eat a shoe.
Never say never. Yeah, well, I'd never claim to eat a shoe. Or if I was, I'd buy like a chocolate shoe off like a novelty.
Yeah, that's what I suggested. Yeah, that's what I suggested to. Exactly a chocolate shoe is what I suggested to Jay, because that's the play, right?
Yeah. I don't know why anyone would be so silly as to suggest eating an actual shoe. I'm pretty sure if you could make yourself do it, it would probably kill you, honestly.
Yeah, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, your stomach isn't made to process shoes. Leather might be, like, I looked into it a little bit. Leather, I think you can actually...
Maybe. Yeah, but whatever it's treated or cured with might still kill you. Right?
Fair.
Because a lot of them are finished with certain stains. I don't know what chemicals are in those.
Yeah, I'm not sure. And it would also be a baby shoe, right? Like, if there's no specifications on it.
Yeah, get like a size 1.
Yeah.
Whatever size baby shoes come in.
Yeah. No size is that shoe.
GG, TLO punches this one in. And we're going to go to game 3 for our second series here, WCS Merca.
Big shoes on this guy.
Big shoes.
All right.
Stomping on him with them big feet.
Indeed. So, yeah, 1-1. It is an epic matchup indeed. The second and third ladder placers in the entire of North Americas.
But before we move on to the next game, do you know what an Acropolis is?
We'll be right back.
We're not actually going to break.
Damn it. It's a Greek citadel, actually, Nate.
Production said it in both of our ears. You can't pull that on me.
What
you asking me questions when you don't know the answer?
Well, why would I ask the question that I know the answer to?
What's the cooldown time of tactical jump? I'll tell you a hint. It's the same as Yamato. It's okay. Here's another hint. It's the same as the build time of
what
Spire. King's Cove is map 3, by the way.
That is going to be fantastic.
Yeah, it's exactly 71 seconds.
I knew that.
Yeah, I know. You've been around longer than me. I'm actually the pupil in this relationship, so it's not my place to ask you questions.
Honestly. I don't know how much HP an Ultra has.
Well, you're a lot better than me, so knowing numbers is kind of all I have. You know what I mean?
Nate, you don't have to. You don't have to do this.
That's fine.
No, your knowledge is appreciated, and you know a lot of weird things because you test it, and it's commendable. Yeah.
Yeah.
Our observer, Wisdom Sauce, he was asking something that you would actually know about. In the slow zones.
Yeah.
Do units regen their
health or shields faster?
Their energy.
I haven't checked energy regen on it.
Huh.
I don't think it affects cooldowns on abilities, because I feel like I would notice that. Because one of my favorite moves is to bait mutas or corruptors into the slow zones with my BCs, because then it's harder for them to disengage me. Because the BC's already so slow, the slow zone basically does nothing to it.
Right.
You know?
I'm not sure that's how it works, but yeah. It just makes it slower.
Yeah,
but why would you fly over a slow zone with
but if you lose 20% of your move speed and you move at 1 speed, then you're only moving at 0.8.
Fair.
But if the corruptor moves at 3 and it loses 20%, then the distance in the drop off is much greater.
I see what you're saying.
So
it's percentile based.
Right, exactly.
Cool.
So
Coolio.
like if you were gonna move queens through the slow zone, like you already kind of know what you're signing up for because you left creep anyway. Right?
Yeah. You're right. Yeah, it's not so bad. All right.
Not so bad.
All right. It's
all right.
What song was that? It's not so bad. What song were you singing?
I'm sure chat will help us out at some point.
All right. So in the top left-hand side of the map, tied 1-1 with the Doctor, it is this man right here. He is Epic. Playing for Psystorm Gaming, top 8 at Philadelphia, does not do his skill the service that it deserves.
Was that that wasn't the recent Philadelphia, right?
It must not have
I always thought that some of that, they've got a funny branding thing going on too, because they've gotten too big for just Philadelphia now. And their last tournament was in Denver. And it's like, well, you're running cheese.
There wasn't in Chicago.
Cheeseadelphia it's such an obvious, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like if I named my tournament like the Scranton Invitational, but I'm like, we're in Dallas this weekend. We got the Scranton Invitational here in Dallas, Texas.
Yeah, it's a little bit awkward, but in a good way. It's a good awkward.
Yeah, it's a good problem to have. You're like, guys, we're too big for our brand. What do we do?
Well, you can't do Denver-Adelphia. Definitely.
Yeah, no, that's just really weird.
Yeah, I think there's no way around it. You just stick with Cheeseadelphia. Denver.
Cheever? I don't know the Dodo host. I got nothing.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Chicago? No.
Cheeserado? Colorado Cheeserado? Maybe. I think I just made a new word.
Colorado Cheeserado.
Cheeserado. That sounds like
a great flavor.
That that sounds like something I get at a
like my mouth watered when you said Cheeserado.
Yeah, I'm thinking like a triple decker quesadilla. You know what I mean? That's a Cheeserado.
Yeah, something like that. Love it.
Someone invent that, please.
Yeah, because dorado in Spanish is like golden, right? Like it's so you imagine that Cheeserado.
Yeah. It's like a double
like
entendre. Yes, please. These lings tried to be cheeky, but there's not really much for them to find. An SCV and a completed command center.
Indeed. Nothing too crazy going on.
Now Hellions are coming out. If the spawns were reversed here, by the way, he wouldn't have been able to lift that barracks and the factory to make Hellions. The lings would have jumped underneath that building.
Yeah.
So you could say that Epic RNG'd his way to a safe mid-game.
I suppose he did. You know, a lot of the problem with that is artwork and how awkward it would look as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Every conversation I had with the Blizzard guys was like, well, it would look really weird. I'm like,
really, really weird.
And then I raised the question, what if we got rid of add-ons?
I don't hate it. I kind of like it. I like big change, though. I'm all for big change.
Yeah. Yeah. It certainly makes more sense than having just like 12 barracks and an academy somewhere else.
Well, we got some change coming up soon with the patch.
Yeah, very excited about that. Who knows? Maybe we'll have big changes at the end of the year again. That'd be cool.
Indeed. TLO very un-TLO-like, by the way, this series so far. He's opened the same way pretty much for the last few games.
Very standard opening. He's not done anything weird actually at all.
Yeah.
He's just played regular old late game StarCraft. You know, when we talked, I think the last time I got to talk to him, he said it was because he's been playing on NA that he can't be as creative because everyone has too many weird builds that make no sense.
That makes sense.
He's like, I've been out TLO'd because everybody is so crazy on NA.
And I mean, if you are anywhat crazy in NA and you're playing against TLO, then you want to show him just how crazy
exactly.
you are, right?
You're like, oh, he's the master of creativity. Well, he hasn't seen my triple siege tank rush with SCV pull.
Yep.
He didn't siege his tanks, and they just came up to my base. I had no idea what was going on. The next thing I know, I lost 40 ladder points. So I stopped opening with roaches.
Yep.
Broke Dario.
They broke him. And here he is. I mean, against Epic, a player that has his own flavor for sure. He's been playing great StarCraft today. A very strong macro player.
Yeah, I mean, he's the bread and butter for this whole series. Now that we're on to Game 3, has been 3 CC, double Engineering Bay, Hellion Openers, Banshees. He skipped the Banshee this time. He's got a cheeky Liberator that's going to try and backstab.
Yeah, Epic is very reminiscent for me of a young special. Just very, very macro focused. For the longest time, Special could not or did not like split Marines almost ever.
Wow.
He would just make a lot more than anyone else.
He's having a hard time finding an opening, and then resorts to the Viking landing to kill 2 drones. I think the Liberator got 1 or 2 in the main now, and the Hellions are looking for space in the natural. Okay.
Oh, finds it. TLO not bringing the drones all the way back and clumping them up. Almost pulled a... Was it a DNS or a drone? Right.
Dude, that Liberator did work, son.
Or was it a Skillus that did that? Who was it? I think it was Drogo that ran into the Archons. I'm not sure. Someone ran into a lot of Archons. That almost happened with the Hellions just now. 17 drones going down regardless. So.
Yeah. Very good start here for Epic.
Not bad at all.
Still
I mean, he does lose map control for it, so the creep is going to be uncontested for the most part.
Yeah. I feel like it's really hard to actually push creep back with Hellions these days, but...
Yeah, I mean, with how many queens Zergs make, like you said, yeah, it is difficult indeed. But you know, it's better to have a couple Hellions here and there than not. So
that I will agree with.
And they also threaten as well, right? Like once you get rid of the Hellions, you don't really need to make any more units until you think the push is coming.
Yeah, it's nice to see a player sticking to some bio stuff, though. Feels weird that I'm saying that of all people, but we've had so much mech in TVZ.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's because mech is good. Mech is really good versus Zerg right now. And it's probably the biggest space that Terrans find success against Zerg because they have those 2 big, diverse styles to break apart.
Yeah. Also a lot of that is the openings, right? The Battlecruiser opening lends itself really well to mech.
Even some stuff like that Liberator range opening we saw yesterday from Future, which... I hope we get to see more stuff like that, because I think that build's really good, at least versus Protoss.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. That build suffers from the same thing that the Banshee does, though, now. I don't even open range Liberator anymore versus Zerg, because everyone just plans for BC, and then they're safe anyway, so...
Yeah.
When you have enough queens, like, there's no map like Dusk Towers anymore, where you're actually outside the range of the queen.
Right.
If the Zerg builds
disgusting.
Yeah, if the Zerg builds 10 queens to deal with a BC, they can transfuse 1 until it kills the Liberator, so I haven't found as much success with it.
Yes, indeed. I mean, Epic sort of containing the creep a little bit, moving out with an additional 2 medevacs, still very safe at home, macroing like a madman.
What I'm waiting for, though, is that Drilling Claws. Give me the Drilling Claws, give me the second factory. He gets +1 vehicle attack, which makes me think maybe he wants to build a lot more tanks, but he's not building tanks anymore, so I'm not 100% convinced yet. I like his Widowmine play. His Widowmine usage on Thunderbird game was great. Was awesome.
Yeah, and you know, like he gets the upgrade. There's an advantage to doing things that other people don't do. It's not like it adds value to the upgrade, which is already like it's already an upgrade you like, right? It's already an upgrade that you think is good. And on top of that, if no one else does it or very few people do it, it catches your opponents off guard. It's just, I think that's meant that is going to happen by virtue of it not being common.
Yep. It's my favorite discussion in StarCraft meta, is not just what's good, because I think people tunnel vision on what's good a little too much sometimes, but it's what your opponent has practice against.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's huge. That's a factor that many people ignore. We see it all over the place with the random discussions, right? It's like, oh, random has an advantage. It's like, okay, then go play random and see how you do.
Yep. I think my favorite, I think someone recently like broke it down a bit, and they were like, well, if a build only has a 45% instead of 55, like you're still winning a lot, you know? And at that point, you could make up for that difference in win rate just by, you know, practicing one kick 1,000 times. But collapsing onto this, the tanks are off creep, so a lot of the banelings are going to go down, but there's a huge Hydralisk flank as well.
Oh, wow.
Dr. Dario.
Yeah, just beautiful.
Swallows this army whole.
Yeah, took the very good opportunity. Epic just pushing a little bit too far onto creep before it had receded, and that's when Dr. Dario identified this and goes even before his flank is ready. I don't know if Epic was aware of the flank and tried to capitalize on the fact that there wouldn't be enough units there, but Dr. Dario had enough banelings, and he's just gonna shred through Epic right now. It's gonna destroy the third, and these tanks may not even be enough.
It's a difficult position to be in, trying to defend. And that tank, even the one all the way on the left, was taking quite a few hits from the Hydras. It does survive a little bit longer, but the Ling just gives it a shove and it dies. It looks like TLO is going to be able to pick up his first series today, as there's not really anything left for Epic. One of his factories is going to die too. GG TLO.
Yeah, very, very nice job. I think it's so important, and we've seen through and through, like a lot of these, like the very good players in this challenger season, they really know how to capitalize on those moments. You know, like it's such a difficult thing to balance, because maybe your plan is, okay, I'm gonna wait for my flank and then I'm gonna push in. Yeah. But if you see your opponent on creep, you have to make a cost analysis right away and be like, that's enough. That's enough for me to pounce. And that's what TLO does, and that's what TLO wins.
And the Hydra flank was just beautiful as well, because he didn't even give him the option to retreat, so just very well done by Dr. Dario. So take a look at the results, and that does mean that we will have Cuddle Bear face off against Epic in a TVT for our loser match, and following that, the winner match is going to be Neeb versus TLO. That Terran versus Terran is coming up next. You're watching Group B of WCS America.